Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is lighting something on fire and breathing the smoke into their lungs. It's one of the strangest things our species does. Think about it from the outside. We take a dried plant, set it on fire, and then deliberately inhale the smoke. The exact thing every survival instinct screams at us to avoid. Smoke means danger. Smoke means run. Every animal on Earth flees from it. Except us. We chase it. So how did this start? Who was the first human to look at a burning plant and think, I should breathe that in? And here's the part that's going to surprise you. The answer goes back so far, and the reason is so strange, that humans may have started farming a drug before they ever farmed food. Let's go back to the beginning. To understand how smoking started, you have to understand fire. For hundreds of thousands of years, fire was the center of human life. It was warmth, protection, cooking, light. Every night, humans gathered around it. And when you spend that much time near burning plants, something inevitable happens. You start to notice that different plants smell different when they burn. Some smoke smelled awful, some smelled sweet, and some smoke, when it drifted into your face around the fire, did something to your head. It made you feel calm, or dizzy, or strangely good. This is almost certainly how it began. Not with a pipe, not with a ritual, just ancient humans sitting around a fire, throwing different plants on the flames, and noticing that some of them changed how you felt. Scientists call this the discovery of psychoactive plants, and our ancestors were astonishingly good at it. One researcher called early humans the ultimate botanists. They tested everything, every leaf, every root, every seed. They learned which plants healed, which plants killed, and which plants, when burned, could change your mind. And this happened far, far earlier than most people think. For decades, scientists believed smoking was relatively recent. The oldest evidence was a set of pipes from Alabama containing nicotine, dated to around 3,000 years ago. That was the story. Smoking was a few thousand years old. Then, in 2021, that story collapsed. Archaeologists excavating an ancient fireplace in the Utah desert found something incredible. Charred seeds of a wild tobacco plant, sitting in the remains of a hearth used by hunter-gatherers. They dated them, 12,300 years old. This pushed the human use of tobacco back by 9,000 years in a single discovery. These were some of the very first people to arrive in the Americas, and almost as soon as they got there, they were using tobacco. Think about what that means. These were Ice Age people. They had no farms, no villages, no permanent homes. They were following herds across a frozen landscape, surviving day to day. And even then, even in that brutal world, they made room for tobacco. But it gets stranger. Some researchers believe tobacco may have been the first plant ever domesticated in North America. Not corn, not beans, not any food crop. Tobacco. A plant you can't eat to survive. A plant whose only real value is what it does to your brain. If they're right, it means something almost unbelievable. It means humans may have started deliberately growing and cultivating a drug before they started farming food. Survival came second. The plant that altered your mind came first. And tobacco was just one discovery. On the other side of the world, humans found something else. In 440 BC, the ancient Greek historian Herodotus described a nomadic people called the Scythians doing something unusual. He wrote that they would take the seeds of the hemp plant, throw them onto red-hot stones, and sit inside enclosed tents as the smoke filled the air. According to Herodotus, the Scythians would howl with joy as they breathed it in. For thousands of years, people assumed Herodotus had made it up or exaggerated. It sounded too strange to be real. Then archaeologists went looking. High in the Pamir Mountains of western China, at a 2,500-year-old cemetery, researchers found wooden bowls filled with stones that had been burned. They ran a chemical analysis. The bowls contained THC, the active compound in cannabis. And not weak cannabis either. The chemical signature suggested these people were burning plants specifically chosen or possibly bred to be more potent. Herodotus was right. The ancient world really was filling tents with cannabis smoke and breathing it in, exactly as he described, 2,500 years ago. This is the part that ties it all together. Smoking didn't begin in one place with one people. It appears again and again all over the world, invented independently by cultures that had never met. Tobacco in the Americas, cannabis in Asia, various plants in Africa and the Pacific. Over and over, humans discovered that burning certain plants and breathing the smoke could change how they felt. That tells us something deep about our species. This wasn't a habit, this was a pattern, a pull. Something about the human brain reaches for substances that alter it, and has been reaching for them for at least 12,000 years. But why? Why would evolution allow this? Breathing smoke damages your lungs. Many of these plants are mildly toxic. From a pure survival standpoint, this should have been bred out of us. So why are we built this way? There are a few theories. The first is medicine. Many of the plants ancient humans smoked genuinely worked as crude medicine. Tobacco was used to numb pain and fight off insects and parasites. Some smoked plants killed bacteria, or calmed coughs, or eased anxiety. For people with no doctors and no pharmacies, smoke that made you feel better was powerful technology. The second theory is connection. Smoking was almost always social. People did it together, around fires, in groups, in rituals. Sharing a mind-altering experience may have bonded people the same way feasts and music did. It was social glue wrapped in smoke. And the third theory is the simplest and the most human. Sometimes life was hard and cold and frightening. And a plant that made you feel calm or happy or just slightly removed from the misery of survival, that was worth something. Maybe worth more than food on the worst nights. The ancient human throwing leaves on the fire wasn't so different from anyone today reaching for something to take the edge off after a long day. So the next time you see someone exhale a cloud of smoke, remember what you're actually looking at. You're watching one of the oldest human behaviors there is. Older than writing, older than farming, older than cities or kings or money. A behavior that ancient humans carried with them across frozen continents, that they may have grown before they grew food, that they invented over and over again on every corner of the earth. The fire, the plant, the smoke, the breath. 12,000 years later, we're still doing exactly the same thing they did. We just forgot when it started.